I'm wearing a church hat next
week. You ain't got no more church dresses left. You gonna be a sexy church lady?
The sexy kind.
I'm a sexy church lady.
The sexy kind.
To another episode of Diva Court. I am your host, Marsha Mignot, and with me is my co-diva.
We're pretty in pink.
Hey, Dana Smith, that is. She comes with a disclaimer. Season 3 is out, ladies and gentlemen, and we are not responsible for the things we're going to talk about.
Facts.
Nor do we believe Dana.
You should.
Should not. We don't own the right to see anything we're going to talk about either. And we're not buying them. So don't forget that. Because this show is for edutainment purposes only.
She's rarely wrong. You gonna let me get that up in there. She's rarely wrong. But when I'm wrong, it is dead wrong. Okay? It's like, oh.
She's dead wrong because this show is for edutainment purposes only. Please look for our episodes every Wednesday. Subscribe. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcasts.
Google us. I was trying to get my John B on, but I didn't know how to make that work.
Okay, keep your John C on, okay? And be sure to catch our videos every Wednesday on YouTube where we push them out for you. We are pretty in pink this week.
I already said that.
But listeners, you can tell us what color you really want us to wear. Because some of us decided to wear hot pink.
Somebody has to do it. I am matching the background.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes.
She wanted her shoes to
Somebody
match
has to be hot.
the background. So she went hot today.
Hey.
Let's talk about what's hot. Donald Trump got another gag order issued by the federal district court judge.
You know what?
Shut it up.
No, I was going to say, like, he's almost as persecuted as the Messiah.
Are you serious? You want to compare Satan to Jesus?
I'm just saying, like, they don't want this man to talk. They shutting him down on all
Do you want Satan speaking in your life? How many times have you gone to church and say, God, please shut Satan up? He's speaking to my kids. He's speaking to my children.
See how you're able to freely say what you want to say?
Oh.
I just think that, you know, when you're under...
Let me ask you a question. Is Satan real?
I was about to go in.
Oh, okay.
When you're under the provision of the court and you have no control of what's going on, and the only control you have is when you leave, because you can't say what you really want to say when they just throwing all these accusations at you left and right, and it's all untrue, and it's just disgusting. And sometimes you get to a place where you want to say, bitch, you fucking him. You want to say that? Now, is it true? Maybe. Because if you mad, it must be true. Only a hit dog holler. Ain't that what they say? You think this is funny, don't you?
You cannot.
These are real people's lives, and you're just over there laughing.
I think
What's
it's
wrong
hilarious.
with you? What's wrong with you?
Hot pink.
Where is the humanity?
It's the hot pink coming
you have
off of
no
you.
humanity. You're just laughing. This man's life is on the line.
Oh, okay.
On the line.
What
he
line?
served this country.
It's on the telephone line?
He served this country for
wait.
4 years.
He had
4 years.
He had heels.
And every since he took presidency, this racist Dixiecrat party, they came in, they've been trying to hold this man down. This must be a black man.
Let me tell you something.
This must be a black man.
So he's going to zip himself out of his white
Yes,
suit?
and they know. That's what they know. He's a black man.
He did not serve. He disserved this country.
What he ever do to you?
He did a
what
disservice.
What did he do to you?
Ruined this country. Ruined it.
You know what? I can tell you one great thing he did.
What?
He peeled back the layers to let you know that these don't care about you.
No, what he did is he let us know racism is alive
it do
and well.
exist. It do exist.
Like the commercial.
They do exist.
That's the Eminem Santa Claus.
Right. And you know what? While your homegirl, since you think she's black, while your homegirl was up there like, I don't think America's a racist country. Shut up.
She was not prepared to answer that question. Who are we talking about, listeners? Our honorable Vice President.
Honorable?
Kamala Harris.
She slept her way up to the top.
With who?
With all those white men.
That man is not part of any judicial system that I'm aware of.
I'm talking about the prosecutor she slept with, then the other person.
So you a Trump too? You're not going to allegedly?
He was slept his way down.
So what if she decides... He slept his way down.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. He said he was going to drain the swamp, and he filled it up. That swamp is so packed with people pleading guilty. That's a shame.
Well, you would plead guilty too if you know that you can get off with $5,000, which is one client check. One client. No, it was $5,000. Retribution was $5,000.
Oh, okay. No. Retribution. Oh my God, you seeking retribution?
That's
can it be restitution?
No, it was retribution.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I said it right. I said it right. This is retribution for the nerve of you to run for president without our permission.
She pled. Listeners, we're talking about a plea for a young attorney who represented Donald Trump. She did not pay $5,000 in retribution.
She did.
She is going to pay $5,000 in restitution.
It's retribution, honey.
But in her,
but like, you actually defended him. We got you.
In her synonym dictionary.
Oh no! I know the difference. It's retribution. I know the difference.
Listen to me. He needs to be gagged. And let me tell you something. I'm disappointed in the ACLU. And the reason I'm disappointed is the articles that I've read, assuming arguendo, they're accurate, because we all know reporters are pushing stuff out. Nobody's vetting anything anymore. It's not overbroad. A judge has the discretion to issue gag orders under the laws of the United States of America. We might be the divided states of America, depending on your opinion, but the judge has the discretion to issue gag orders, especially as it pertains to speech associated with violent acts that are going to be perpetuated upon her staff.
We need to issue you a gag order, okay? Because I'm tired of people saying violence. Oh, it's violence. Wasn't nothing violent said. You don't even know what he said. What he say?
He's inciting a riot.
What he say?
He did it on January 1st.
He didn't get charged for that.
Let's go down there.
Wait a minute, okay? As a defense attorney, I am ashamed. I am ashamed. I'm appalled.
Of yourself?
Of you. He has not been indicted, charged, alleged, maybe alleged, but he has not been indicted for inciting a riot.
That's exactly what this case is, I believe.
Oh, no, okay. That's no. The case we're talking about.
No, the federal case.
That's not that's about January 6th.
I think it's along the
I thought we were talking about the voting case.
You didn't come down on your
we're not talking about it. No. This is not in Atlanta. This is the feds.
It's so many lies.
It's so many it's so many cases. And that is why I'm standing on my square and saying it's so confusing. That's what they want to do. They want you to be confused. There's a case over here. There's a case over there. There's a case. And then if he gets one guilty, he's guilty for all of it. And that's what they're going to push. They're pushing this agenda. It's ridiculous.
Okay, so you square dancing. You said I'm going to stand on the square and square dance, right?
I don't know. I got too much rhythm for
do-si-do. You trying to do-si-do.
I got too much rhythm for that.
Okay. So first of all, gag orders, ladies and gentlemen, listeners, courts are permitted to issue gag orders. The purpose of a gag order is to keep someone who is behaving in a manner the court believes.
Are you talking about me?
Even the prosecutor. Prosecutors can get gag orders. They have issued gag orders against prosecutors and defense counsels and say, shut up about the case. No more trying this case in a court of public opinion.
Have you been in a position where you were
Are we starting a commercial?
I know. I need to.
You did sound like a commercial.
Somebody. Have you been? No. Have you been in a position where you are accosted by the mediator or the judge or the person who's supposed to play fairly, and you had to sit there and just take it? Have you?
Yes, it's called.
Okay, so with that being
called
said,
decorum. I know he doesn't know that because he's not classy.
Did he say anything inside the court?
He is tweeting about the inside of the court, and the judge says you could talk about anything you want to talk about as long as it's not about inside of the court.
I don't. You know what? I can understand a gag order if you're like threatening people.
Yes.
He didn't threaten nobody.
Yes.
What
lies
cited?
He is saying
what did he say?
That the court staff is sleeping around and making allegations about who she's having an affair with.
Is that what he said?
This is
you have the evidence?
This is more specific. That's what triggered the first gag order, which is in the business case.
Which is still
New York.
Which is still not a reason to be gay.
Well, the reason why is because at least what the judges have said you're picking out individual people and targeting them, and you're putting them at risk for people who believe that you're being unfairly prosecuted to attack them.
Do you know what the great poet Bobby Brown said?
Where's the liquor?
My back.
Where's the liquor?
A heart attack. Ain't nobody. That's what the great Bobby Brown said.
I'm not drunk.
No matter what they say, I'm quoting Bobby Brown here.
That's what
he said, ain't that way.
He said, "What's the verse of every little step I take?" How'd that go again?
He said, "I want to sing Roni. I want to sing Roni." And they said, "No, keep playing, Bobby is not singing Roni."
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so
ma'am,
what?
You cannot
if it's
say
true,
words. True. Okay, first of all, listeners, let's get this freedom of speech cleared up. Freedom of speech, as I've said in several seasons, watch them all, you're going to catch it, is not unbridled. You cannot go in a movie theater and shout fire. And the reason is you can roll your eyes until they're white.
It sounds like my mother. You better
The reason is because innocent individuals and lives can be damaged, hurt, killed, seriously injured in a movie theater if you said fire and you were joking, because people's response to that is to stampede. And you cannot afford, I'm at a movie theater with my kids, we're just eating popcorn.
Such a false equivalency.
And you decide to come in and
see
just
how I did that? That's a fallacy. That's the fallacy right there. It's a false equivalency.
Equivalency. Okay. That's a synonym in the synonym dictionary.
It's still a false equivalency.
It's not. It's to show you that you can't say anything you want. Okay,
fire.
Let me give you a better one. Let me give you a better one since you didn't like that one. Because there's several.
Better one.
A better one is to accuse someone of being a prostitute.
All right.
I can say, Co-Diva's a prostitute.
Oh,
and defame you.
I will never.
And defame you. And now somebody is calling and saying, kill all the prostitutes. And now when you're getting ready to go home, one, it's not true.
I don't like that example.
Somebody's...
I don't think that works.
Somebody's at your driveway.
Just because you make it up don't mean it's true.
That's my point. So you cannot make it up knowing it's false and allow me to
How we don't know she was sleeping with that man?
Because you cannot subject someone to public ridicule. That's defamatory.
It's called comedy.
No, it's comedy on Saturday Night Live. But it's not comedy on the court, in the court system.
He's not in the court. He's outside the court.
Speaking of synonyms.
Speaking of synonyms.
No, so the real issue is the individual. Everybody just has speed bumps.
Whoa, my God.
Speed bumps.
The gummies. The gummies. The gummies. It's the gummies.
First of all, there's only one person who can have a speech impediment on this stage. That's my bit. Get with it, okay? Get with it. You know, sometimes she speaks so clear, right?
I didn't want.
There's only one person
that has the bit.
Who has this bit? It's me. Okay?
So
pick your own. Get your own thing. This is mine.
It's pointing out the individual.
Yes.
I think the system doesn't have a problem with you saying the system is unfair.
Right. Which the judge said.
Yeah.
The judge said you could talk about
But what if
Biden. He said, the judge in the order said you could talk about Biden.
So that's
you
an
could say
individual.
you could say Biden. Yeah, but you're running into politics. I'm not trying to shut down your campaign. You could say Biden's unfair. Biden doesn't know what he's talking about. Talk about Biden all
So
you
what
want.
if he
you
feels
could
like
say
the judge
you
is
could say the
unfair?
judicial
You could
system
say
is
that-
not fair
yeah.
overall, broad. I
So
don't
can
think
you say the judge is not fair?
I'm sure the judge
you can even
is
say the judge
okay
is
with
not
that.
fair.
I'm
But
sure
you
the
can't
judge-
say that individual right there is.
Well, the staff member under the judge. The judge is probably someone who is saying, I can take the ridicule because that's what this position comes with.
Right.
Right? So
Part of the job.
Everyone's going to know who I am because I'm adjudicating
Part of the job.
case.
I'm a public
So
figure.
that's fine. You cannot point out my court staff who is doing
Their
the
job.
work and didn't want this. They didn't run for the office. They
Right.
didn't get appointed. They didn't go in front of Congress to do any of this stuff.
No.
Oh, they
I
were
just hired
briefed.
them.
They were briefed.
What?
They were briefed.
No, they were not.
They
They
were
didn't
briefed.
sign up for this. They didn't
No,
tell them
no.
to prosecute Trump.
I'm
They didn't
about
have
to tell
it.
you.
Think about it. My court staff has nothing to do with what cases are
Hold
brought
on.
before me.
No. They were like, listen, y'all, we about to get this Trump case. And you know he gonna act a plum fool. So if you think you're not
Oh,
gonna be
so I
able
should
to
quit
handle
'cause he's a
this,
nut?
not quit. We'll just find someone to replace you just for this case.
Wow.
I'm pretty
Are
sure.
you serious?
pretty sure
pretty sure you're gonna get.
You don't
you're
want
to get
your government
harassed.
money going through that.
You're going
No
to
way.
get harassed.
No way.
You'd
You're
be
going
like,
to.
Where's my $1,000
You're gonna get.
going?
You're gonna get harassed. You're gonna get. You might get threatened. This is all a part of.
So let me ask you a question. If the threats were coming from Young Thug, would it be okay? If Young Thug says,
What threat was made?
hold up. If Young Thug says,
Well, he's
funny-
a thug,
no.
and he's young.
Oh.
So
So the
he
old
might-
thugs, the old white thugs get away with it.
Maybe they know how to wrap
Can't
it up.
be a
better.
young black thug. You got to be an old white thug, according to this Diva.
Well,
and then you can say and do whatever you want, no matter how reckless.
What violence did he throw out there?
It's not the violence. It's the
But
it's
she
the
said
individual.
violence. So
Alright.
she's using
No,
the
violence.
no,
implication.
I am using violence because you can put these people at risk because the people who support Donald Trump can show up at my court staff's house. They can show up at my court staff's
Like how
children's
those
elementary
liberals
school.
like how those liberals had them show up at. I was gonna call him Colin Kaepernick's
No,
house.
like how them
What's his name?
Yes, how they showed up at the Supreme
Capitol.
Court
What's
And the
his-
Capitol.
No.
No.
Well,
The
he went to the
Court
Supreme Court
individual
house.
houses.
What was the judge name? I was gonna call him Colin
Gorsuch?
Kaepernick.
Or
No, it's the other one. The one that was dry humping that one girl allegedly. Remember when Kamala was grilling him?
That would be Kamala.
Oh, what's his name?
It
Who
sound
does
like-
15 beers?
I love beer.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
It sounded like Colin
Cried.
Kaepernick. It sound like
It does sound like Kaepernick, but it's not. Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh. Yeah.
Kavanaugh. You can't
Now
do
that's
that.
a synonym for your ass.
So
Synonym.
So you can't do that.
Cinnamon.
You cannot. You cannot.
some
put
cinnamon for
somebody-
your ass.
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
But again, that's a position where that role comes to them. They didn't go to his clerk's house to say, "Oh, we're gonna get him." They went to the person who was like,
But no
"You."
one went
Yes.
to anyone's
in a
house.
public street.
Yes.
So it's
No,
still
no. But
a
No.
problem.
The issue here is the
She's at
risk,
risk.
for an individual.
You don't wait till your staff gets killed to issue a gag order for the defendant sitting at the table
who is currently
Well,
being
you know
charged
the judicial
with
telling
storming
people,
a Capitol.
Go take the Capitol.
the judicial system is an afterthought.
Wait, for who? Because
For
I thought the founding
for
fathers thought of it.
suspects. No, but it's an afterthought.
Afterthought for who?
After the thought occurs, and then you enact the action.
Oh,
and
you
then
mean reactionary?
There you go.
Oh,
Afterthought.
synonyms.
There goes another synonym.
synonyms.
This man speaks my language.
Wow, he does. What is your language?
I don't know.
Gibberish.
Well, it's communicative. He gets it.
She speaks communicative.
It's
I agree.
No. I didn't say I speak communicative.
Oh, okay.
I said it's communicative, which means it's communicating the message, which he picks up.
Communicative.
No.
It's
You
a
picked it.
no.
You
it's
knew
a
what I was
preference.
saying. You
It's a
knew what I was saying.
preference.
You knew what I was saying. It depends on where you want to put the accent.
I put it on
Communicative. Communicative is a word. Look it up.
For sure, when I spell it, but that's not how people are going to pronounce it.
just like fillet.
Just because you pronounce it that way doesn't make it right.
No,
So you
not
say
at all.
fillet?
Not when they have the pronunciation.
No,
next
she
to
says
the word
fillet.
telling you.
May I have a fillet of fish, please?
Don't play.
She orders a fillet, not a
Go,
fillet.
you go order a fillet of fish at McDonald's, and guess what you gonna get?
If you're ordering
A
food
fillet?
at McDonald's, so let's talk about
Yes,
something else.
that's correct. So speaking of charges,
Fillets? Oh, fish?
Alec Baldwin, the prosecutor in the Alec Baldwin case. Sit down, please sit down.
No
Listeners, what
longer-
are we talking about? Rust is rusty.
You
We're
know,
talking about the movie Rust, and here they come again. They dismissed the other charges because they knew they couldn't prove
So
it.
let's be specific. Those were special prosecutors. So those were brought in, special counsel prosecutors, to come in and judge whether it is worthy of charging or not. This is the same thing that this is the original DA now.
look
coming
how
through.
She's coming back again.
Yes.
look how reality imitates. Look how reality imitates. What is the word I'm looking
Life,
Art.
Art.
art,
Because
art
both
imitates reality. You mean?
art imitates reality.
Yeah. Because
Or reality. Actually, reality imitates art too.
it is now what
Because
Trump is
because
the
Alec
reality
Baldwin
art.
is the one who's doing the art.
No,
and
because-
now his reality is being.
I got a better one because Trump
Right.
is a character.
But the same man who he's
Who played
imitating
Donald
him,
Trump
he's imitating him in real life with a
is
court
now
case.
facing his own court case.
Unnecessary charges. Look at that. Look how reality
You
imitates
played
art.
Trump on Saturday Night Live,
And
who
look how
thinks
art-
who thinks he's having unnecessary charges, and now you are playing yourself with
With
what you
unnecessary
believe to be
But
unnecessary
so that
charges.
is how reality imitates art. I said
How
it right.
ironic.
I wasn't saying it the opposite way.
Let's do the Saturday Night Live. Isn't that convenient? You
No,
remember
that-
the church
that-
lady?
No, I was not watching.
Oh, you were
Saturday Night
asleep.
Live
I'm sorry.
at that
I forgot
time.
it's
I
past her
had a
bedtime.
bedtime.
Past her bedtime. Oh, I'm sorry. You weren't in bed. You were jumping through the window. That's what you were doing.
No, not
Escaping.
maybe.
Oh, I'm
when
sorry.
it
You weren't
was,
escaping. You were escaping.
maybe when it was Will Ferrell was on the show.
That's when you watched it.
That's when I watched.
You didn't watch it with Eddie Murphy?
No, I was too young. I
Gumby?
wasn't.
You didn't see Gumby?
No, I was too young.
Too bad. So sad. All right, listeners, back to the topic. Alec Baldwin, the prosecutor, is trying to make a career. So she's coming back now, still looking to try to charge him with involuntary
Sounds
manslaughter.
like Fonnie
And
Davis,
I have to
or is it Fonnie Willis?
I am concerned, though.
Willis.
It's not in Georgia.
Yeah, no, she's saying it sound like her. She's trying to get her boy off.
It sounds like Fonnie
Although
Willis.
we already have we're up to 4 people pleading.
Yes, she's got a lot pleading. Did you
Well,
see the
they
most
were
recent plea?
idiots.
This young lady
Are
pled.
they?
You
No,
wouldn't plead?
I can't
You
do all
you
the
would
jail
roll the
time by
dice?
myself.
No. They were idiots from the beginning.
Oh yes,
So
yeah. For
When you do
associating
idiotic-
themselves with
Okay,
Donald Trump.
when you
So,
do idiotic stuff,
The idiots smartened up by pleading? Is that what you said?
well, they had to plead because they were idiots.
Okay, so the idiots smartened up and decided.
No, they weren't. They didn't smarten up.
Let me
they,
take the
they
plea?
had to deal with the dumb
Oh,
stuff.
so the consequences of their
Yeah,
dumbness
They were idiots.
is more dumbness?
No, what I'm saying is that it was they did smarten up. They took the plea because it was dumb for them to do that in the first place.
Yes. And she said,
If you're
"Had I known
if you're
what
an
I knew."
attorney and you think that you shouldn't do your due diligence and slap your name on documents as if they're legal, like you have to sign off. Like when you sign off on it, that's an indication that
That you vetted it.
right.
You vetted it. You did your job.
yeah. Oh,
Crazy.
look at you.
Crazy.
Dodd or job?
Job.
I think it's just where it all.
Did your job. It's did
Everybody.
and job. Dodge.
Dodd. Just keep it short. Just keep it short.
Let's just use the synonyms up in here.
Let's
Diva
keep it
Court
short. Let's keep
synonyms.
it short.
Yeah, that case is a waste of taxpayers' money. That investigation is a career come up. And I think they need to pass laws that say that as a prosecutor, you cannot write a book, you cannot make a movie, you cannot do anything. I mean, look at the Alec Murdaugh case. They're about to have a hearing on whether or not he should be entitled to a new trial based on the fact that the clerk sat down with the jurors. Hey, let's not take all day. Let's not do this. According to some of the jurors, after the verdict, they did affidavits for defense counsel saying that she did that and then wrote a book and then did an interview and then was on Netflix.
Oh, so Alec Murdaugh is the one that was in what? South
South Carolina, that he killed the wife and the son, according to the conviction and the jurors. But now he's about to have a hearing on whether he should be granted a new trial because all these affidavits from the jurors are coming out stating that the clerk of court interjected herself into the case. Don't believe him when he testifies. He's just trying to trick you.
Is that what she said?
That's what they allege she said in their affidavits. So either she's lying because she wasn't sworn, or they lying because they were sworn. Remember, the affidavits are sworn. Sworn documents that they gave to the defense counsel, and now they're about to have a hearing. Then she writes a book and sits down at Netflix. You can't do that. They should stop that. If you're involved in the prosecution of any case.
All you're supposed to do is making sure paperwork is being filed properly.
No, and she said, and don't take forever either. Make it a quick verdict.
Why was she even in there?
Because she's writing a book.
No, but like the clerk of court, like is our
No. The clerk of court manages the jurors. You have to. They're sending out the jury duty notices.
I know, but I didn't know she was supposed to be in the juror room. Like, you know,
she has to be. She's the one that tells you what courtroom to go to. She's the one that has the bailiff that walks you up, the 30 of you or the 40 of you.
But you saying that she went into where they were deliberating. You know how the
not when they were deliberating, before they were deliberating. So in the jury selection process, she gets to gather them. So the allegations like, hey, you all are selected, y'all are the jurors.
So her introduction is like, even though you're selected for this jury.
Yeah.
Don't believe him.
Don't believe him. Don't believe him. He's a liar. He's going to try to trick you, and make sure we make it fast. And then she does the Netflix interview and says, I knew this was going to be a quick verdict.
Are they going to charge her?
Probably. So if she's smart, she's lawyered up, and she will not be testifying at this hearing.
She already testified in Netflix.
Well, those are admissions in Netflix that can be used against her if they prosecute her. But to testify at the hearing under oath would be different. Because
speaking of that, you know how we were talking about lyrics, when you rap lyrics, they can use those rap lyrics as a part of an investigation, right?
They can, because they can use anything as part of an investigation. Right. If I think it might be related to a crime, I get to investigate it.
Right. But they can't use it as a mission of guilt, though, right?
Well, that's what they're trying to do in the Young Thug RICO cases across the state of Georgia. They're trying to say if you posted, you're part of that gang, if you do the sign, or if you had on the shirt, or if we find it in your cell phone, because we're going to arrest you and then we're going to get your cell phone and we're going to get a court order to go into your cell phone, and then we're going to take all those posts that you were posting.
So the little baby that he was holding while he was going like, what up? The baby guilty too.
The baby is guilty too. And we can charge the baby if we so desire.
That baby can't
Especially
testify.
if the baby took the stage and said something about homosexuals and then got his snatched up.
That baby quiet.
Even that baby, that baby.
I ain't heard from that baby in a long time.
That baby sat there. They snatched that baby's check, okay? So
I do have to make a correction. The special prosecutors came back, and the quote they made was,
"We can't rely on the producers in this show."
No, because the articles again are really great. So
allegedly.
The quote is, after an extensive investigation over the past several months, additional facts have come to light that we believe show Mr. Baldwin had criminal culpability in the death of
no more gummies.
Helena Hutchins and shooting of Joel Souza.
What are these special facts that they found out?
Let me tell you something.
There's none.
There is
I
none.
completely agree, because guess who would have found out what the special facts are?
They would have.
The news.
Yeah.
It would have been first thing on news. We have video
Special
evidence
news.
of him
Right.
clicking through his gun and messing.
Pointing it and shooting
what
it
they're what they're using is the civil culpability to try to pivot into a criminal prosecution, because the narrative in the public, that's another mistake that prosecutors make across this country, is to allow public pressure to cause you to move in a direction that you normally would not move in. And then you embarrass yourself, because when it backfires on you, you can't prove it. You spend all that money, you come back and you say, okay, well, I was just doing the right thing. No, you were doing the wrong thing. When you investigate a case like this and you realize the person handling the weapon or charged with handling the weapon did not clear the weapon. First of all, what pisses me off about that investigation, how did the bullet get there? Nobody has any concern whatsoever about how the live round made it to the set.
So it was a live round. It wasn't a blank.
No. Live
I don't
rounds.
know.
No.
There's so much information counter and
That's the problem that's why they dropped it in the first place. Because they were like, live rounds, is anybody investigating how the live rounds made it to the set? Because if you did that, you had a motive. Dana, if you snuck, if you quit, think about it. People had been quitting because they were complaining about the conditions, that they wanted accommodations that were better. And then
this sounds like a Scooby-Doo episode.
I wonder where's Velma.
But I see what you're saying. It was like to bring attention to
Thank you. I want to screw him because I don't like him. He's the person pushing out this movie. I think he's penny pinching on this movie. And it's dangerous to penny pinch because if you penny pinch, you can end up hiring somebody that's not qualified. And if you have an unqualified person, people could get hurt. What they didn't calculate is somebody would die. I think they did put a live round because they thought that maybe it would be fired and everybody would go, oh my God. And everybody be ducking and they were like, see what happens when you don't put the budget together?
Somebody is in a country where there's no, what do you call it?
Where they have immunity.
Well,
no extradition.
No extradition.
So the armor is still going forward with her trial in February, and she's facing the same charge of involuntary manslaughter.
She's probably going to plead.
And evidence tampering in the case.
Evidence tampering.
She's probably going to plead.
So
them charges don't mean they can prove it. They charge whatever they feel like charging.
She probably picked up the weapon like, how was this even happening?
Yeah.
And now she tampered with the evidence.
My problem is, how did the rounds get there? How did they get there? If you're going to put a special investigator, special prosecutor, special this and a special that, how about we specially go to where were they purchased?
Where's your special report?
And how did it get here? Who brought it here?
Shouldn't it have a serial number?
No. But my point is, if I'm upset, think about it. If I'm upset and I said, Alec Baldwin, I'm going to screw him. I'm going to screw his career. I'm going to destroy his career. I think it's cheap. I don't think he pays people well. And I'm going to screw him and then I'm quit. And I write a letter, because remember, there was a letter that was given to them. Somebody's going to get hurt. Bam, somebody gets shot. You're suspect number one.
Facts.
You are suspect number one, okay? And I'm Velma, and I'm coming with my little magnifying glass.
Here, pretend this is your magnifying glass.
and I'm magnifying, okay? I'm coming through with a magnifying glass, and I want to know, how did it get here? Did you write the letter? Is your fingerprints on it? Dust it.
Are your fingerprints on the letter and on
the box.
The bullet?
And the bullet. Are you on there?
And the weapon.
Are you on there?
Did they dust fingerprints on the weapon?
They don't care. Got Alec Baldwin. Superstar. Let's go for that.
They need to dust the fingerprints.
That's the problem.
Hey,
proper
prosecutors or
investigation.
Defense. You need to get that weapon dusted.
Dust it. But be careful, defense, about dusting it.
Because it might
be your client.
Yeah,
but look, if they dust the gun and only find do they have to enter that into evidence?
Who, the defense?
Yeah.
If you entered into reciprocal discovery, yes.
What's the benefit of reciprocal discovery?
You have to give them what you have, and they have to give you what you have. And
but
I personally don't find, and it's only my trial strategy, any benefit in reciprocal discovery unless I know I've got some good stuff.
But don't the prosecutor have to give you discovery?
Well, they have to give you the Brady discovery, but they don't have to give you everything. Like certain scientific reports you're not entitled to. There's certain things that the Supreme Court has said, if you don't do reciprocal, you're not getting everything. But you have to get anything that would exculpate you. So if anything shows that it's exculpatory, yeah, you can be exculpatory.
What's the basic?
Okay,
no.
Say for example,
no. That's not what I'm asking you. What was the root word of what you just?
Exculpatory.
No, you said something else. You said exculpate.
No, exculpate. Exculpate.
It's a scope.
I'm gonna need. No, I said exculpate. Exculpate. Okay, you got to stay in your lane.
Wait,
over in the synonyms. You don't know that word.
You said exculpate.
I'll get you a black stick.
No, I'm asking you. No. I'm
exculpatory.
But before you said that,
exculpate. No, exculpatory. Yeah, if you find that this is going to exculpate me from the charges.
That's okay. I thought you said something else.
Yes, from the charge. Like you know this is going to prove.
Go ahead and do your thing.
I'm gonna break it down for my listeners. You know this is going to prove that I didn't do the crime. Mm-hmm. You know it. Right? Because you have video of another person committing a murder. Right? You got to turn that over, whether I join discovery or not. Got to turn it over because now you know it's not me. You dusted for prints and you know those are not my prints. And you said the gun was fired by the killer. You got to turn it over. You know it's not me. But if you did a scientific report, you know what I'm saying, a special report, like you said, let me go see how Apple computers might operate under these.
Or what if you do a ballistic report?
Yeah, you have to turn that over.
Because that's
correct. Because if you're saying this weapon fired, and I said I never fired a weapon, and no weapon was fired at the scene, and that's something that the court could go, no, you can't go forward with this case. Then you have to turn it over. So my point is, I don't find any value in doing reciprocal discovery, especially when I am of the position the burden is on the state. The burden is on the state. Lazy lawyers will do it because now I just rely on what the state gives me, which in my opinion,
that's what they do often.
Doesn't make sense. Yeah, it doesn't make sense because what if the state is not giving me everything? What if the scientific report that the coroner did is wrong? What if it actually is an accidental death and I'm not going to go get my own medical examiner to look at it to say, is this really an accidental death? And they go, no, this is not accidental
But
death.
if you do reciprocal and they give you the coroner report and you do your own,
you got to give it. You got to turn it over. If you don't turn it over, you can't use it because you engaged in reciprocal discovery. You promised the state that whatever it is you dug up in your own investigation, the stuff you paid to have done on behalf of your client, you're going to give it to them. So that's why I'm very cautious because a lot of times too, when you have support staff, you have to be careful because if your support staff didn't turn it over and you're relying on your support staff, hey, give the state the discovery, and your support staff left one piece out and you get to try, you're like, oh, did you give them discovery? Yeah. And now you find out, you didn't give them that. You can't use it.
Yeah.
Now you're ineffective as a lawyer.
So a piece of information that was likely found in will be found in discovery is this apparently they're trying to say that Baldwin skipping required firearms trading created a climate of recklessness, and that is the recklessness that they want to extend
to say is new.
Involuntary manslaughter.
I think it's foolish, and here's why. He still has to rely on her to say the gun is clear. And weapons training is not going to change that if he says, I know how to fire a gun. I know gun safety rules. Because even if you knew gun safety rules, the factual circumstances there, as long as she says gun is clear, 2 people cleared that weapon. Before I touched it as the actor, I have no need to look into it. And I could be a trained marksman.
Yeah.
I don't expect live round on my set, so I am not checking for it.
And
the issue of him pulling the trigger or not pulling the trigger, I think that's the dumbest thing ever. That's a red herring. That's a smoke screen. That's a pivot.
Is that a Taurus gun?
Hey, that's a crap.
Is it a Taurus gun?
Allegedly.
It is allegedly a Taurus gun? I don't know. Taurus had its own problems.
It's a prop revolver. Well, it's a revolver, so it's not. And again, alleged.
Well, Taurus's lawsuit.
Well, if I say if it is, that's not. Wait. So why do I have to say?
Can I just drop my alleged and just leave?
He just
I know, but I said if.
But Taurus did have a lawsuit.
No,
they had a lawsuit for defective firearm,
but
and they settled the lawsuit.
I didn't say that's a blah 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 blah.
Okay. And again,
I said, is that a Taurus gun?
Would you prefer your attorney to say she reserves her right to remain silent, or would your attorney to say, hey, go ahead and speak hands off?
I was asking questions.
She was trumping it.
If I was going to kill him.
How would I do it? OJ didn't learn nothing from that. This is how I would commit the murder. And they made sure he went to prison after that. You can't play with that.
You can't.
That is deadly. All right. We have a speaker in the house.
It ain't, what's your boy's name?
It's not Donald Trump.
No.
They wanted him at once.
What's your boy's name?
How many boys do I have?
Jordan.
Yes.
It's not Jordan.
It isn't Jordan.
No, it is not Jordan.
Like, I don't understand why he thought he was going to be. Who was going to vote for you, sir?
His people?
No.
Well, it seems like they're only
he
voting.
was Trump's favorite person. They were like, it's Trump's favorite person.
They don't like him for real.
Trump don't like him? He's just
Trump
lying.
don't like nobody.
Right.
He likes himself.
So the new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, is a Louisiana representative, and he is now the 56th Speaker of the United States.
How many blood bonds and babies and firstborns did he have to give over to be that?
I don't know.
Position?
I think it just ended
They did it secretly.
They ended up just crossing off names off the list of who they hate
He
the
was
most
last.
for each side.
He was last.
And he was just
Last man standing.
Last man left.
Yeah.
We all we got.
Might as well just go with him.
Look,
we all don't.
that's
hate
how
him.
jury selection works.
Yeah, so
We strike until we're done it. We don't have any more left, and then that's your jury. Unfortunately.
yeah.
So you cheersing? You cheersing to your speaker?
Yeah, I mean,
Cheers
I
to
don't.
a
I
speaker.
mean,
things can get done
A
now.
secret speaker. Maybe we can vote on something.
I know.
Oh my gosh, that was so on point. I'm like, was that loud? No, it was perfectly on point.
This really is good. They bought quality this time. The show is really coming up.
It's stepping this game up. You went to that engineering school that teaches you how to be on point.
Okay, so what do you think they're going to get done? Nothing?
They got that done. Let's just say that.
They got nothing done.
They got that
You think they're going to continue on the same path? Nothing?
The elections in November, there's nothing much more to get done. They'll
Well, they
probably keep
said,
the
no.
government-
We have a vote for the government
They'll
coming
keep the
up.
government open.
You think so?
Yeah.
So if we're gonna speak to that a little bit, he does want to support Ukraine. He wants to continue giving them money, and they have some demands on what they want to see back.
That's
the
surprising.
same thing that they want to do for
We're
Israel.
gonna be in World War III in a second. I hope y'all know that.
I don't think so. I just
don't
think we
think
need to
so
stop
either.
spending money on war.
Well,
I'm against it.
Word on the street.
Human aid, I am with that. If people are hungry, people need
Word
shelter.
on the street is due to inflation. We have to just hand money over, hand over fist, in order to balance out our.
Okay. So
Our
is that a
economy.
fiscal responsibility plan
I guess.
of your party?
Money is fake. So in which way,
It's an
just a
exchange.
move.
Well, we used to use salt. So why don't we go back to salt?
Let's not
It's
go back
money?
to salt.
Because it dissolves.
Because you can't make that up. You can't make up how much salt you got. It's not how salty you are. You don't get to do it based
Well,
on that.
you
Can
know,
we
you
do
would-
it based on salty?
You know, the producer would have
Oh,
all
my
the
word.
money.
He'd be a billionaire.
Oh, he's so salty.
He would be a
Oh, he'd be
billionaire.
so salty. You're so salty.
He would be a billionaire.
No, I see us going into World War III because what's going to happen is Hamas is not going to be winning, and then one of their Arab allies is going to be like, it's time to help out.
No.
And then you don't think so?
No. This has been replayed multiple times. It is a move that was made because Saudi Arabia is about to make it's still in flux, but there are strong talks that Saudi Arabia was about to recognize Israel in exchange for a lot of things that were about to go down.
Oh, wow.
Was going to recognize Israel?
Yeah,
Like, what does that even mean?
as a state.
So what does that mean? When they recognize Israel, when
Ooh,
they recognize
that one was
Israel,
heavy.
This is a whole
What does
bunch
that
of
mean?
speed bumps here. We need to do
like
lip
so they not
exercises.
so I guess the thing is that if the Arab nations are not recognizing them,
Correct.
how does that affect Israel?
I'm not sure. So you have a whole bunch of hostile neighbors. That's how it affects.
Well,
you.
yes, and you want peace in the Middle East.
No, that's never gonna happen. But what
wow,
I'm saying,
way to stay positive.
what I'm
Jeez,
saying
look
because
at
it's
the salt.
ridiculous.
So it
You
looks
can't-
like we got
Salty.
2 billionaires
Boy,
here.
we sure do.
She's salty. But no, what I'm saying is that how does recognizing we recognize North Korea?
No, we don't.
We don't recognize North Korea.
excuse
What
me?
does that even mean? I don't
Do
recognize
you do business with them?
So,
Trading?
But
Trading.
Israel, but
Telling your people to
Protectionist.
vacation there?
but Israel is
Run to
recognized
their
by
rescue?
other places, so it's not like it
yeah,
don't
but
exist.
they're not their neighbors.
It do exist.
But you know, if I live next door to you, I'm more dangerous to you than if I lived miles away.
So do you think by Saudi Arabia recognizing Israel, that means it's going to affect its next door neighbors?
There would be an Arab backing, people with actual money supporting whatever would go on, because I believe there was a sense of mutual defense that was going to come out of that agreement. And
So
know,
that's why we had to do this?
that's why there was some rush
Wow.
to do that attack. Also, there's, all right,
I heard
allegedly conspiracy world.
Oh yeah, I
allegedly,
heard
allegedly,
that it was
allegedly. That
Word on the
inside
streets?
job.
On the
yes,
Sesame Streets?
that it's very hard for that not to be picked up, just how massive a scale that was.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
That-
I see. That makes sense.
and
Right.
That
that the
makes
prime
sense.
minister,
Because everybody kept saying, "What's up with the security?"
yeah, the prime
The
minister,
intel,
of
the intelligence
state
was off.
was not popular decree this. Still isn't popular, but has some backing for.
So there was this
his
soldier
things.
from the IDF.
Yes.
Who did you hear about that?
No.
So it was a soldier about the IDF who was explaining how he said this has to be an inside job. So I don't know how long he'll be living.
Former?
No, current.
Soon to be former.
Because it's like with the intel that Israel has, they should have known. They probably have so many people in Gaza that would have known.
A lot.
No,
of
they're
allegeds.
saying the intel should have picked it up.
A lot of allegeds.
Yeah,
That's what we'll
allegedly.
say. There's a lot of allegeds out there.
Well, let me tell you what's not been alleged. Debt collective.
Debt forgiveness?
Debt collective forgiveness. Debt collectively forgiven.
Way to complete your thought.
Debt collectively forgiven. All right, so somebody listeners
do they
bought
collect it and then they give you
bought a
do
bunch
they
of
give it back?
student loans. Bought a bunch of student loans
Nice.
and just forgave them.
Oh, isn't
Was
that
yours
nice?
in that?
No, probably not.
Mine either. Whoever you are, you need to do some more buying.
So
Collective buying.
Debt collective calls themselves a debtors union. So they're a whole bunch of people who come together and collect funds and buy debt off of the schools and
Wow.
other places.
I would love to do that.
And
I go
that's an
to
excellent
to
idea.
a HBCU, but I think it's my Maryland debt that's kicking my butt. It's that master's degree.
Let me tell you something. I think that's an excellent idea. If we become billionaires, what we should do is collect debt for students.
Wait, bitch,
So,
better have my money?
yeah,
No,
so
no,
just like the debt
go
collectors
in
would
and
go
get
in
'em.
and say, "Hey,
I'll buy it all.
I'll buy it
Yeah.
off of you for
For pennies on the
$100,000."
dollar.
Yeah.
We can go
Just
buy
so you
it.
can get money, and then you collect that debt. What debt collectors do is they go after those millions, sometimes illegally, like they're not supposed to. But, they go after that debt you owe. So they've inherited the debt by purchasing it off you.
Right.
So this group is here purchasing the
And
debt
just letting
and
it go.
wiping
just
it
letting
out.
wipe out.
That's a nice thing.
I
So
like that.
They just did in the news. They just put in $10 million. They just cleared $10 million of student debt for students at Morehouse College.
Yes. Morehouse gets
Is
a
it
lot of money.
all
though.
of Morehouse or just
It was it's just $10 million that they bought off them. It doesn't specify which year
random
or
students?
whatever. They just collected as much as they could for this amount of money.
And if you were in that group, you just go, ooh,
Yep.
that sounds good.
Yep.
We're gonna do that because we are going to become billionaires.
yes, because we're gonna be very salty.
I know.
Salty.
Listeners, please look for our videos every Wednesday. Remember, you could see the hot pink, the hotter pink,
Hey.
and the beauty and the colors of the divas. Stay tuned and make sure you find us on
Spotify.
Apple Podcast, and Google Podcasts. And as we say here on Diva Court every week when we close out our show, we'll drink to that. Order.
You don't never let it ride.
You supposed to say fries. Milkshake.
We got to drink to that.